DepEd Vision. We dream of Filipinos who passionately love their country and whose values and competencies enable them to realize their full potential and contribute meaningfully to building the nation. As a learner-centered public institution, the Department of Education continuously improves itself to better serve its stakeholders. DepEd mission: to protect and promote the right of every Filipino to quality, equitable, culture-based, and complete basic education where students learn in a child-friendly, gender-sensitive, safe, and motivating environment. Teachers facilitate learning and constantly nurture every learner. Administrators and staff, as stewards of the institution, ensure an enabling and supportive environment for effective learning to happen. Family, community, and other stakeholders are actively engaged and share responsibility for developing lifelong learners. DepEd core values: maka-Diyos, makatao, makakalikasan, at makabansa.
Mabuhay! Isang mapagpalang araw sa ating lahat. Ako ang inyong lingkod, Tutor Match. Welcome sa ating ETUlay, ang ating libreng online tutorial na hatid ng ating kagawaran ng edukasyon, ICTS, EdTech. Ang programang ito ay inaasahang makatutulong at maging karagdagang kaalaman sa mga mag-aaral mula kinder hanggang senior high school, ALS, Alive, at SPED learners. Bukod sa pagsagot ng mga modules, ang ETUlay ay may mga special programs din na siguradong aabangan ninyo araw-araw. Katuwang ang ating mga minamahal na mga magulang at guro ay maitutulay natin ang pagkatuto. Kaya, ihanda na ang inyong module, lapis, papel o kwaderno. Ihanda rin ang isip, mata at tenga sa isa na namang makabuluhang aralin. Tayo nang matuto kasama ang inyong volunteer online tutor sa oras na ito.
Hello! Yes, another Friday, another learning. So welcome to our contact center services session for this Friday afternoon. Okay, so you can watch our live session on Facebook. So DepEd Tech Unit, DepEd tayo. And of course, also in YouTube, DepEd Philippines, DepEd EdTech, and DepEd TV. Okay, so every Friday, so 1:42 to 20 p.m. I am Tutor Rodman, your tall, dark, and never mind from SDO Bataan. Okay, so wala ngayon Sir Tutor T because is busy right now sa kanyang school. So Tutor T, good luck and congratulations. So our lesson for today, for our quarter 2, week 5, actually, no, communicate effectively in English. It's all about modifiers. Yan. So, ano nga bang modifier? No, what are the modifiers? So mamaya i-discuss natin, no? So we talk about modifiers. And yeah, wait. Pag-usapan mo natin. So this is our objective for today. So use English language deploying oral, written, listening, and grammar skills. Okay. So what is the importance of this topic? No, it's about modifiers. Ano ba yung mga ito? Ano ba yung mga modifiers na ito? No? So being fluent in the English language, of course, takes time and effort. Alam naman natin yan, no? It's not easy but challenging rather than hard. Challenging siya, pero hindi naman ganun kahirap, right? So being fluent in the English language will surely bring you many benefits in life. So that is why it is very important to study, no, and to learn this subject matters. Okay? So last meeting, and so Sir Tutor T discussed about preposition. So what is preposition or what are prepositions? So preposition gives information about time, about position, about possession, right? About manner of action, reason, purpose, and cause, and a lot more. So the S, no? And aside from that, so these are the mistakes. Yan. Ito do yung mga ano natin. So these are some the most important things to remember about preposition. So the common mistakes that were committed. The first one is non-use of preposition when a sentence needs one, right? Yan. And what else? Another one, use of prepositions when it is not necessary. Yeah, so this one is the opposite of number one. Kanina, we add preposition kahit na hindi naman kailangan. Ito naman, kailangan ng preposition but we we omit the preposition. What else? Yeah, so number three, use of the wrong preposition. Okay, so Sir Tutor T gave an example. I read your comment in Facebook. So we use preposition in instead of on preposition. What else? Yan. Moving on. So in proposition now, we can avoid those mistakes if we have a solid understanding of the different types of prepositions and how and when to use them. Okay? So that is why practice is necessary. Right? It is very necessary. Kailangan nating pag-aralan those prepositions para mas gumaling tayo in grammar. Okay, so in here, so what's wrong with this sentence? So Neil Armstrong made history as the first man to step on the moon in 1969. So what do you think? What's wrong with this sentence? Meron bang mali? Or tama lang siya? Kasi for us Pinoy, so yung casual, in the casual conversation, it is normal. Parang okay na siya, no? In Filipino or in our language, of course, walang mali as long as we understand or we understood, no, each other. But in here, so what do you think, guys? Our duties. Palagay ninyo, meron bang mali rito? In this sentence, Neil Armstrong made history as the first man to step on the moon in 1969. So due to the placement of the modifier in 1969, so the modifier in this sentence is 1969, no? The sentence seems to say that Neil Armstrong was the first man that particular year to step on the moon. Diba? So nagkakaroon ng confusion. Ibig sabihin, after same year, on that same year, in 1969, meron pang another man na nagpunta sa moon. Okay, aside from Neil Armstrong. Kaya nagkakaroon ng confusion. Parang una lang si Neil Armstrong, tapos may sumunod sa kanya maybe next month, okay, in 1969. No, 1969. So paano natin gagawin 'yan? Okay. So, alin ang mas magala, no? Alin ang mas malinaw? In 1969, Neil Armstrong made history as the first man to step on the moon. So, which is better? Which is clearer? The first one or the second one? So, in here, the modifier in 1969, nilagay na natin sa tabi, no, ni Neil Armstrong. Sabi niya, made history as the first man to step on the moon. Right? So, mas malinaw, right? Yan. Pero siyempre sa atin, sabi ko nga in Filipino, sa ating mga Pinoy, so once we are using Tagalog or Filipino, so as long as we understood, no? As long as naintindihan natin siya, there's no problem with that. Okay? Or in the casual conversation, that is okay. That is normal. Right? But in grammar or in correct English, so magkakamali tayo, especially when we are taking an examination. Halimbawa, nag-a-apply tayo sa trabaho, right? Tapos we have this examination, no? Tapos akala natin okay na, hindi natin nakita yung modifier, the correct modifier. So magkakamali na tayo, right? Or for instance, meron kang entrance exam sa college, right? College exam. So magkakamali. Okay. So ano ba yan? Ano ba itong topic natin for today? Ano nga ba ito? No? So let us discuss what is a modifier. A modifier, sabi, is a word, phrase, or clause that provides description or describes another part of a sentence. Okay, so that is a modifier. So pag alam na natin, no, so when say word that is, or words, so those are the smallest units of language that native speaker can identify and find it meaningful. So word yun. So ang phrase naman, when say phrase, that is a grammatical term referring to a group of words. A phrase is a group of words in a sentence that does not have a subject nor a verb. A phrase is a group of combination of words that make sense but not complete sense. Yan. So malinaw na yan, no? So sabi dito, yun daw modifier is a word, phrase, or clause. So ano naman yung clause? A clause is a group of words containing a subject and a predicate, and which makes sense. So we have two, no? We have independent clause and dependent clause. Yan. So malinaw na, no? That is a modifier. A modifier is maybe a word, maybe a phrase, or maybe a clause, right? That provides description or describes another part of a sentence. So, ano yung dapat nating tandaan about modifier, no? Para to avoid mistakes, para maiwasan nating magkamali. Okay? So these are the things to remember about modifiers. The first one is always place modifiers as close as possible to the words they modify. So yun daw yung una, no? Kauna-unaan. So when you place modifiers too far from the words that they modify, you change the meaning of the sentence. So creating what is called a misplaced modifier. At ayan yung didiscuss natin, no, mamaya about yung misplaced modifier and also the dangling modifier. Ayan. So that is the first thing, na? The first thing that we must remember about modifiers. Lagi daw siya, always place modifiers as close as possible to the words they modify. Katulad kanina nung example natin, no, the modifier. So yung phrase natin in 1969. Tapos ang layo-layo niya, no, nandun siya sa pinakahuli, and minomodify niya is Neil Armstrong. So nagkakaroon na ng confusion. So that is the first one. Okay, so we have examples in here. Okay, so example number 1. So Mr. Mark C is a good supervisor. So here, siyempre the adjective good modifies the noun supervisor, right? Yeah, so good supervisor. Number 2 example, the old man speaks slowly. So who speaks slowly? Sino ba yung nagsasalita ng mabagal? Siyempre yung the old man. So the adjective old modifies the noun man. Yan, so malapit din, no? Sabi, yung adjective na good, malapit dun sa kanyang minomodify. And the is supervisor. Yung old man o yung old, the adjective old modifies the noun man. And number three, she is a great teacher. Who is the great teacher? Siyempre, she. The adjective, the great teacher, she, the adjective great modifies the noun teacher. Yeah, so that is rule number one. Okay? So rule number one, sabi na always place modifier as close as possible to the words they modify. Okay, number two, a modifier at the beginning of the sentence must modify the subject of the sentence. Yeah, a modifier daw at the beginning of the sentence must modify the subject of the sentence. Okay, so we have examples in here. Reading books help Lisa to boost her confidence. Yan. And number two, anong din malapit dito, no? Reading books. So if you use the modifier at the beginning of your sentence to modify a word other than the subject of your sentence, siyempre, you create a misplaced modifier error. Kaya nga, reading books. So, minomodify nung word na reading, yung books. Siyempre, sabi daw, help Lisa to boost her confidence. Another example, wearing headsets, Tutor Rodman heard Tutor T clearly. And number three, listening attentively, the tutees will learn the lesson well. Right? So that is rule number two about modifier. How about number three? So in number three, yan, your modifier must modify a word or phrase that is included in your sentence. Kaya kanina sinabi natin, no, a modifier may be a word, a phrase, or a clause. Right? So we have examples. Yeah. So while teaching modifiers, Tutor Rodman reads comments from the comment box. Yan, babasahin ko muna, no? So, good afternoon daw, watching from Region 4A, Calabarzon, Division of Quezon, Calawag West District, Santa Maria Elementary School, Calawag, Quezon. So, good afternoon, no? Verniel Camacho Bello. So, thank you for watching. Okay, salamat. Thank you for watching CCS, Contact Center Services. So, wala si Tutor T ngayon. Okay? So, yung mga fans ni Tutor T, so, please support me. No? Manood tayo at makinig. Okay, next one. After the park, the man entirely waiting for his girlfriend. Yan. Then, number three, technology. It is one of the reasons why is English the global language of today? Yeah. Sabi dito, no? So number three rule. So your modifier must modify a word or phrase that is included in your sentence. So while teaching modifiers, so ito, no? So we have these modifiers while teaching. Das minomodify nyo yung modifiers. And then at the park, the man, technology, yan, one of the reasons. Yan. So those, no? So those are what we call the important things to remember about modifiers. So there are different types of modifier in English grammar. Okay, so we have the noun modifier. Sabi, it modifies another noun. Example, Randy bought a banana bread. Okay? Then number two, we have my father is a canteen manager. So actually, no, so there are different types of modifier in English grammar. Marami ito. But the most important is, just what I want to help you, uh, how to know the dangling modifier and the what you call the misplaced modifier, because those are included in the examinations given in college entrance exams, and also kapag nag-apply tayo sa trabaho. Yeah, marami ang mga ito, no? So the first one nga sabi, the noun modifier. And next we have adjective modifier. It modifies a noun and a pronoun, right? Example, Rommel is a good friend of mine. Number 2, he wishes a red sports car. Number 3, I smell something fishy. Yeah, so those are examples of adjective modifier. So adjective good modifies the noun friend. Adjective another modifies the noun one. So fishy is post modifier, modifies the pronoun something. Yeah. And the next one is we have the adverb modifier. It modifies adjective and verb and another adverb. The food was so delicious. Riemann often walks in the beach. Number 3, please work very carefully. Yan. So those are examples of the adverb. Okay, next. We have participle modifier. It modifies noun or pronoun. So these are examples. My mother bought a dancing shoes for my promenade. Number 2, the man was tired. Number 3, changing his shirt, Carl entered to the ETUlay Facebook page. Right? So the present participle dancing modifies the noun shoes. The man was tired. So here the past participle tired modifies the noun man. And number 3, the perfect participle praise modify the next clause. Okay, next. So we have also determiner modifier. So generally, determiner consists of article. So the articles are a, an, and that. And also demonstrative pronoun. So this, that, this, and those. It modifies noun. Examples, I bought a mobile for my son. And number 2, the COVID-19 affects the world. And number 3, she knows that topic well. Yan. So articles, determiners are those little words that precede and modify nouns. Okay? So next we have also here, possessive modifier. So when say possessive modifier, so generally possessive consists of many words such as my, your, his, her, our, their, its, own, and a lot more. And it modifies noun. Example, my mother is a doctor. Number 2, nobody knows it's mine. Then number 3, his deeds spread around the globe. Yeah, so those are examples of possessive modifier. And next we have quantifier modifier. It modifies noun. Quantifiers are both countable and uncountable. So when say countable, yung nabibilang. Okay? Halimbawa, 7 trees. Yan, 7 trees. So 7 puno daw. So nabibilang siya. Uncountable, example, sugar, water, sa those. So those are examples of uncountable. Hindi sila nabibilang. So we have examples. Number 1, he bought 10 pencils. Yan. So 10 is a countable. Nabibilang daw. 10 pencils. Then, number 2, let's spend much time playing mobile games. Okay, next. Number 3, Tutor T has a lot of ideas. And number 4, Rod needs some money. Yan. So, a singular, non-countable noun, quantifier, allele. So, those are singular, non-countable, non-quantifier. So, allele, amount of, a lot of, a lot, more, less, some enough, much, lil, allele. So those are singular. Kung sinabi naman natin plural, countable noun, quantifier, many, some, few, a great or good number of, a lot of, three, 10, more, less, several, adequate, enough. So, ayun lang, no? So, those are countable and non-countable. So, quantifier, modifier, it modifies noun. So, ito, no, yung number 10, it modifies pencil. Okay? Then, much, modify time. And a lot, ideas. Some, money. Okay, next, we have infinite modifier. So, bakit ba natin dinidiscuss ito? No? Yeah, for you to be familiarized, okay, about these modifiers. But actually, the most, yung problema, talagang problema dito, the misplaced modifier and also the dangling modifier. Okay, so infinite modifier, ito daw yun, no? So, praise work as modifier to modify noun. Yan, ito ginamit ko yung to dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to reach, ayan, taas, no? The unreachable star. So when say infinite or infinitive modifier, so we are using to dream, to fight, to bear, to reach. Okay, next. A positive modifier. A positive modifier modifies noun. Examples, number 1, her favorite hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, wrote Noli Me Tangere. Number 2, Mr. Manuel, JB's father, is a teacher. And number 3, my closest tutor, RJ, love music. So when say an appositive is a type of modifier, it can be a single word or a phrase. When say phrase, no, a group of words. An appositive is placed next to some other word or phrase and is a synonym or of possible replacement for that other word or phrase. Okay? It usually does not include the typical introductory words for other modifier such as which. Yeah, so in our example, no? Sabi, our favorite hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, wrote Noli Me Tangere. So yung hero natin, the favorite hero, so that is a positive. And sino tinutukoy niya, minomodify niya? That is Dr. Jose Rizal. Okay? And number 2, example, so we have noun. So Mr. Manuel, so that is yung noun natin, no? Then yung appositive is JB's dad or father. JB's father. And in number 3, example, my closest tutor, RJ, love music. So yung noun natin, of course, in this example, yung friend. I mean, yung closest tutor. Okay? Closest tutor. And then yung appositive, that is RJ. Ayan. So moving on. So let's go to Misplaced Modifier. Ano nga ba ito, no? So Misplaced Modifier. Sabi ko nga kanina, guys, our turis, I know you are listening. Sabi nga natin, no, so when say modifier daw, a modifier, when a modifier is ambiguously. Pag sinabi natin ambiguous, parang magulo, no? Para siyang magulo, hindi natin maintindihan. Okay? Sabi niya, or illogically. Pag sinabi natin illogically, parang hindi siya malinaw. Okay? Sabi kasi pag when say logic, correct thinking, right? So, misplaced modifiers, when a modifier is ambiguously or illogically modifying a word. So, we consider it a misplaced modifier. So, in our introduction, yung about kay Neil Armstrong, so that one is an example of misplaced modifier. Yan. So, ito yung ano natin, no? So, misplaced modifiers. Example number 1. So, most participants selected a dinner for the menu that was low in carb. So, ano daw yan? Tama ba or mali? Right? But actually, kung titignan natin, parang tama naman kasi we understand the statement or the sentence, right? Parang wala naman tayong nagiging problema, right? Yeah, hi, Tutor Rodman from Tutor RJ Tela. I miss you, bro. Okay? Sige. Salamat. So, ano nga ba yung mali dito sa number 1 natin, sa example number 1? So, most participants selected daw a dinner from the menu that was low in carb. Yan. Meron bang mali o may tama? Or tama lang, or I mean, may tama ba o walang tama? Thank you thank you Tutor RJ. Yan. So in here, guys, our dear today, sabi dito parang may mali daw, no? Ano gagawin natin para matama siya? So, most participants selected a dinner from the menu that was low in carb. Ano ba yung ating modifier dito? What is the modifier in here? Parang ang modifier dito, no? From the menu. Okay? So, from the menu. Kasi, nagkakaroon, sabi, ambiguous daw, ano? Ambiguous. Ibig sabihin, nakakagulo. So, most participants selected a dinner from the menu that was low in carb. So, para makorek natin ito, kasi parang, sabi, most participants daw selected a dinner. Parang namili daw sila dun sa menu, no? Kung kakainin nila. Ang gagawin niya, ang solution, of course, move the modifier next to the whatever it's modifying. In here, siyempre, in this example, our modifier is from the menu. Yan. So, ang gagawin natin, sabi daw, move the modifier next to the whatever it's modifying. So, sabi, most participants selected a dinner that was low in carb from the menu. Tama ba? Tama na ba siya? Yan. So, most participants selected a dinner that was low in carb from the menu. So, in this example, so ang ating modifier in here is that was low in carb. Okay? Siyempre, saan nila kukuhanin yun? From the menu. Yung menu modifier niya, no? From the menu. Okay, next. Another example, yan. Mara arrived home late and fell onto the bed covered in sweat. Yeah, tama na ba ito? Or may kailangan pang baguhin? So sabi, Mara arrived home late and fell onto the bed covered in sweat. So in this example, sino ba yung covered in sweat? The bed ba or Mara? Diba? So that is the question. Kailangan nating malaman. Ano ba yung covered in sweat? The bed ba or Mara? Yeah. Again, no, the solution in here, siyempre, so the modifier, so move the modifier next to the whatever it's modifying. Siyempre, ang minomodify dito, si Mara. Try nga natin. Ayan. So, mas okay ba ito? Covered in sweat, Mara arrived home late and fell onto the bed. So, ibig sabihin, si Mara pala, yung punong-puno ng pawis at hindi yung bed. Right? So, covered in sweat. Kasi, we all know that yung bed naman ay talaga namang hindi pinagpapawisan. Right? Ayan. Nababasa siya, pero hindi pinagpapawisan. So, in this example, so, ni-move lang natin, no? We move the modifier next to the, whatever it's modifying. So, minomodify niya si Mara. So, covered in sweat, so malinaw na si Mara yung punong-puno ng pawis. Yeah, so covered in sweat, Mara arrived home late and fell onto bed. So, maybe si Mara ay pagod na pagod, no? Galing sa trabaho. So, that's why kahit hindi na pa siya nakapagpahinga, yan. So, nakatulog na siya. Okay, next, another example. No, example number 3. The chess player called to his coach, crying loudly. How about in this example? The chess player called to his coach, crying loudly. So, siguro kung halimbawa, yung umiyak talaga dito yung coach niya, so walang problema dito, no? So, coach is crying loudly, so there's no problem with that. Pero syempre, ang tinutukoy dito yung chess player. So, maybe a boy, no? A boy chess player. Or maybe a girl chess player. Tapos, siguro nanalo siya, or maybe natalo siya doon sa kanilang game, sa kanilang rematch. Okay? So, kaya nag-iiyak siya ng malakas. The chess player called to his coach, crying loudly. Paano natin gagawin yan? Meron ba dyan na misplace na modifier? Again, no? Yeah. Ang gagawin lang nito, syempre, kapag misplaced modifier, guys, so we just move the modifier next to the whatever it's modifying. Hanapin lang natin kung ano ba talaga yung minomodify niya. Eh, para mas maging malinaw yung ating sentence, yung ating statement. So in here, the chess player called to his coach crying loudly. So hindi naman siguro iyak dito yung coach niya, no? Hindi naman siguro yung coach niya yung umiyak dito. So syempre, so maybe a boy or maybe a girl nga, no? A chess player na maybe natalo siya or nanalo siya. Kung nanalo siya, of course, umiyak siya because of joy. Right? The players are crying loudly because of joy. Kung nanalo. Kung natalo naman, siguro, sa lungkot, something like that. Yeah. So let us check. Yan. So crying loudly, again, no? So we put comma. So crying loudly, the chess player called to his coach. Yan. So tama na yan. So maybe a boy daw, no? A boy chess player crying loudly. Yan. Crying loudly, the chess player called to his coach. Again, kapag misplaced modifier, we just move the modifier next to the whatever it's modifying. Kung ano man yung pin-modify niya, ilapit lang natin doon. Okay? So example number 4. The management agreed during the Christmas party, they would announce the winners. Yan. So in example number 4, parang wala naman ding problema, no? Wala naman problema sa misplaced modifier sa example number 4. Pero, syempre, Sabi, the management agreed during the Christmas party, they would announce the winner. Ah. Alin ang mas maganda? Yan. So the management agreed. So pwede tayo maglagay ng that. Okay? O pwedeng wala na rin yung that na yan. So they agreed they would announce the winners during the Christmas party. So mas malinaw, no? The management agreed that they would announce the winners during the Christmas party. Balikan natin yung ano, no? Itong isa. So sabi, the management agreed during the Christmas party, parang nagkaroon ng confusion. So they would announce the winners. Pero mas malinaw ito, the management agreed that they would announce the winners during the Christmas party. Mas malinaw siya, right? Kailan niya announce? During the Christmas party. Okay, so that is what we call misplaced modifiers, guys. Kailangan lang, i-move mo lang yung modifier kung saan o kung sino yung kanyang minomodify. Okay, next we have the dangling modifiers. Ito, medyo mas kakaiba sa misplaced modifier. Kung sa misplaced modifier, we just move the modifier. Ito naman, merong binabago talaga. Okay? So meron tayong binabago kapag sinabi nating dangling modifier. Yeah. So dangling modifier, so sabi when a modifier is not modifying a specific word, we call it a dangling modifier. Wala daw siyang specific na minomodify. So nalilito tayo, ano ba yung gusto niyang sabihin? What the statement or what is the sentence trying to say? Something like that. No, naguguluhan tayo. Kaya nga, anong dapat natin gawin dyan? Kapag sa dangling modifier, guys, so recognizing dangling modifier in a correct sentence, so sabi, the subject or the doer that is modified should yan, no? So, ang ano natin, no? So, how to fix dangling modifier. And there are two ways to fix a dangling modifier. The first one is revise the main clause. So, one method of fixing a dangling modifier is to leave the modifier as it is and rewrite the main clause so that it begins with the subject being modified. Yeah, so example natin, no? While in the bus, a car accident was witnessed on the highway. Okay, tama ba ito? Or mas maganda ito, while in the bus, David, kasi nawawala yung ating subject eh. Okay, kaya ang lalagay natin, maglagay tayo ng subject dito. A car accident, sabi niya, while in the bus, a car accident was witnessed on the highway. Okay, kaya nawawala, the subject is missing, so we just add the subject. David, yan, nilagay natin si David. David witnessed a car accident on the highway. So mas malinaw na, right? Okay, next. Number 2, having injured his dominant hand, it was difficult to write the exam. Okay? So anong mali dyan? It was difficult to write the exam. Yan. So again, the verb, the subject is missing. Kaya ang natin, maglalagay tayo ng subject. Because Roniel had injured his dominant hand, it was difficult to write the exam. So mas malinaw na ngayon, we just add the subject or a subject. Number 3, another example, hungry after the CCS ETUlay session, my heavy lunch was quickly devoured upon reaching the end. Yan. So angry after the CCS ETUlay session. So sino ba yung nagugutom? Sino ba yung gutom? Wala pa rin, The subject is missing in here. Kaya siyempre ako itong nagdi-discuss, kaya lalagay ko na lang ako, Angry after the CCS ETUlay session, so I quickly devoured my heavy lunch upon reaching the end. Yan. So I put I as the subject. Okay, tapos na tayo. So those are what we call the modifiers. Okay, modifiers. Ang importante lang dito, no, the most important is to know you guys, to understand you well, the what you call the misplaced modifier and also the dangling modifier. Kapag misplaced modifier, we just move, no, yung modifier nearer to the subject o yung minomodify niya. Aayusin lang natin. So that is what we call the misplaced modifier. Kapag dangling modifier naman, of course, i-arrange natin siya, aayusin natin siya, maybe the subject is missing. So we just add the subject. Mag-a-add lang tayo ng subject, or maybe pwede natin siyang i-revise, no? I-revise natin siya hanggang sa mas maintindihan, no? Mas maging malinaw yung ating sentence. So that is, no? So that is all about the modifiers. Yan. So, if you want to, to watch our recorded session, so panoorin nyo na sa Facebook and YouTube. Okay. So, we're done, no? We're done for today. So, I hope na marami natutunan about modifiers. Okay. So, this is your tutor Rodman. Thank you and God bless us all. So, mag-aalis because we have another tutors waiting. So, for FOS with Ma'am Grace and Ma'am Teresa. Thank you and God bless us all.
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag ETUlay Level Up. Huwag aalis ha, dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan. Dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!